What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to stifle a cough because Seahawks Today is live. Seahawks Today is presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Will Ortner. Spam your 12s if you're ready to get rocking and rolling. Joseph Jack just said that he is not happy with the way that Jalen Milroe has played. Pop Toast is hanging out in the building. My guy Parker is bored at work, and he's down below in the comment section spamming those 12s.
Get back to work, Parker.
What's going on, Trigger, Elijah, Reed, Sabir, Chris? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is fun to be here on an Overreaction Monday. Jay, how are you? Marvin, it's good to see you, man. It's a fun day that we have planned for the 12s. And you know what? Speaking of fun days, you can't have a good day without the one, the only, the great producer, Tom Searle. How you doing?
Goddamn right. And I'm doing good. Disappointed after last night, but it's preseason. What are you going to do? Can't win them all. Saw some good things, saw some not so good things. Jalen Milroe, I'm looking at you. We'll get into that today, though. We got a good show on tap. Excited to be back with the 12s. Long time no see.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. Muggs wants to cut Milroe or trade him for Shador. Well, you know, backup QBs, they seem to trade pretty easily. Travis, he's asking some questions. You know what? Let's get the people a part of today's mailbag. It's going to be a shorter segment show. We're only going to have 2 segments because I want to be here hanging out with y'all, the 12s, enjoying what a fun day this can be. So if you want to be a part of our mailbag, send in a super chat to get in on the show, or you can use that hashtag Seahawks. So if you want to ask a question, you want to have a hot take, whatever it may be, use that hashtag Seahawks, or like I said, send in a super chat. Super chat guarantees that you are going to be on the show no matter how big, no matter how small. It is essentially like cutting the line is the way it was described to me. You want to be a part of the show. Get in the comment section. Keep helping us out. Reed the GOAT is not a fan of Jalen Milroe. Use the hashtag Seahawks on that, guys. That is a part of our, what would you call it, Producer Tom? I don't even know.
We describe it as live radio. It's like calling into a radio show. You guys dictate where the show goes. Essentially, you know, we have a few notes that we want to hit, but at the end of the day, you're the one dictating where the show goes.
100%. Pop Toes, appreciate you. He used the hashtag Seahawks. Get in our comment section and sound off like that. Guardian got a great take, but we can't talk about it unless you use that hashtag Seahawks or you send in that super chat. Help us grow the show today as well. You hit that thumbs up button. It allows more Seahawk fans to come in and hang out with us today. A little bit of a smaller show, but that's okay because this is our first Monday live edition of the program. So if you could help us out, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. My guy, Board, he really wants me to know something. He's got a hot take, and I'm not going to sit here and say that it's the worst hot take I've ever heard. I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of fun, but we got to be careful at times with certain guys on the roster. Not a big fan of a certain Seattle Seahawks. That is all right. Keep hitting that thumbs up button. We're only at 17 likes. I know we can get that number up, and up. Producer Tom, what do you... Well, that guy does suck. Christian!
Shout out, Christian! Long time no see, buddy.
Dude, Christian's the man. I really appreciate it. Cody, you have a great question. Use the hashtag Seahawks, man. Use the hashtag Seahawks so we can get you on the show. Christian absolutely killing it. I do like what he had to say. Elijah, perfect. That is how you use the hashtag Seahawks. We appreciate you down below in our comment section, sounding off, sounding loud and proud. 46 people, almost 50 people in the building today. Hit the thumbs up button if you will. Like I said, this is a little bit more of a fun, interactive show. We're not going to get into our first segment all that quickly. Like, we're going to be hanging out here, Producer Tom.
Let's discuss the game last night. Fire off your takes. We're here for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Congratulations to you, Pop Toast. Cody, you got to ask the question with the hashtag Seahawks. Guardian. That is a great move there, dude. That's exactly how you get that thing done. I don't want to answer it now because I do want to try and answer it on our mailbag show, which it's going to go out. I believe it's going to go out tomorrow. I just don't know if it's going to go out in the morning or in the PM. Christian sent in that super chat. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I do appreciate that, big sir. Means the world. So Christian asks, who has to step up before the cut with a question mark? I think there's a couple people, producer Tom, and I want you to kind of wrap your brain around maybe one or two different people that you're thinking about right now in your head.
Yeah.
I think the easiest one for me is a guy like Emmanuel Henderson.
Okay.
This is a guy who was supposed to be on the team. And I kind of almost feel like he's played his way off of the team or been played off of the team with how well we've seen Montorie Foster Jr. Perform. Even Cody White potentially might have played himself off of the roster. Now, when you look at all three of those guys, it feels like they're vying for maybe one or two spots, especially now with the Jake Bobo injury. When you look at those three guys, they all have these great plays. Obviously, Cody White played really well for Seattle last year when he was healthy. Montorie Foster Jr.'s got a couple of big diving catches that have been fantastic for this team. But where you see the bugaboos is Montorie Foster Jr. lining up off sides, basic elementary school stuff. You look at Cody White. I don't know what the heck he was doing on that punt return. It was embarrassing. It was atrocious. And it was not something that you should ever do, especially if you are in a position where you might not make this team. Emmanuel Henderson, he hasn't really had that big embarrassing play. But I also feel like he hasn't done anything, right? So I'm kind of in a spot right now where he's certainly someone. You think you could throw Montorie Foster Jr. I think you could throw Cody White in there as well. Who do you have?
Yeah, I'm looking at that cornerback 3 spot. Big position battle for defensive coordinator Aiden Dirty going on for that CB3 spot between Nehemiah Pritchett and Noah Igbenogany. I hope I said his name right.
I think you nailed it, actually.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, but they've been sort of lackluster, dare I say, this preseason. If either or both want to make this team, they're going to have to step up in the final preseason game coming up here later this week. So I think that's the one I'm watching closest. I mean, obviously they've signed Trevon Diggs, going to sign Terry and Arnold. So clearly it's a concern for not only Mike McDonald but John Schneider as well.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, Tom. It certainly feels like this is a day. Ooh, thank you, Mr. Northwest. We'll get you up here in just one moment. I think that this is a situation, too, when you look at that CB3 where, like, maybe we do explore that trade. We threw out the Joey Porter Jr. trade. I understand that right now he's kind of not going through any of the practices over there in Pittsburgh. I know that Jalen Ramsey, he came out for him and was like, hey, man, we need to make sure that we take care of him here in Pittsburgh. Well, if they don't take care of him, he fits a need in Seattle.
Oh, big time.
And you have 12 draft picks. You stockpiled everything. Now, if you make that trade, you're going to have to pay Porter. But is there a conversation around him being someone that could fit in with Seattle? And I also don't think that we're in a position right now where we can kind of turn our nose up at trading maybe 2 picks, if we're talking like a late day 2, early day 3, like tandem, and go, hey, you know what? Maybe he doesn't stay long-term. Not every move has to be a long-term move. If you're telling me that this team is a tall cornerback away, let's make the trade for Joey Porter Jr. I'm fine with that. And then we'll bring him in to this team. And if he leaves, like, that's unfortunate, but it happens. Those things happen from time to time. Mr. Northwest, what's going on, big dog? Milroe is in a lose-lose situation. He wants to be a proven as a QB, not a runner. McDonald wants him as a situation Lamar role. Bama QBs are overrated. Now, this is an interesting point here from my guy, Mr. Northwest. Also appreciate you. You'll be on the show today. Obviously, you'll also be on one of the shows tomorrow. Haven't decided if it's the morning or the late night version. But this is a good call here by Mr. Northwest because when you look at Milroe, I do believe that he doesn't want to run. I think that there were multiple opportunities last night for him to run, and by the time he felt like he needed to run or it was time for him to run, he waited too late, right?
Big time.
So then he ended up getting sacked or ended up getting tackled, forced to throw the football away quickly. He wants to prove that he can be a QB, and McDonald, we saw it in the meeting room where he's like, dude, if it's not there right away, tuck it and run. And Milrow's like, well, that's not good for me as a QB my entire career. And McDonald's like, I don't know that I really care about that necessarily. I care about using you right now and winning games. Worry about where your NFL career is at 30 when you're 30, not necessarily at 23 years old or whatever age he is right now. So I just kind of feel like Milrow is trying to be something that maybe he's not necessarily is, but I also understand where he's coming from the point of, I don't want to just become the guy who only tucks the ball and runs. Like we saw it in our comment section last night. We asked, should the Seahawks cut Jalen Milrow? This was a conversation that we had, right? This was a conversation that we had last night. And we're not the only show that had that conversation. And we saw a ton of people that were saying, well, why doesn't he just switch from quarterback to running back or quarterback to wide receiver? And I'm not saying that he doesn't have the athletic ability to do that. I think we all know that he has that athletic ability to do that. But it's very clear that he wants to do that as like a last resort.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to turn into Terrell Pryor.
Do
you think the Seahawks are going to sit on that one, Tom?
Yeah, I think it's time to let him go. I do.
Yeah.
I don't think he's had multiple off seasons in Seattle. And I don't know if it's necessarily a coaching thing with the Seahawks. I just have not seen enough from him. And I don't think there's a spot, like you've mentioned, using him as like a gadget on the offensive side of the ball. If that can work, then great. But as of right now, I don't really see that happening.
Yeah.
And I think it might just be better for both sides to move on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm closer to there than I think most people might realize. Most people might want me to be. Trigger seems to think that experiment isn't over yet. I think I see him making this 53-man roster, but I do think that there needs to be a real conversation. Like, he should be guy 53.
Yeah.
He should be guy 53. Yeah. Because if you're looking in that cornerback room and there's an injury right now, well then, shoot. You're going to be pissed off that you kept a QB3.
Exactly.
And week one, an injury happens. Well, now you're in a horrible spot just so that you could have, a QB3. Because when you look at the cornerback, safeties, some of the wide receivers on this team, they are going to make other rosters. The Seahawks have a really good problem to have. Mm-hmm. They have NFL guys throughout this team. It is loaded. You just watch your twos absolutely freaking take it to the Tennessee Titans ones. Now, I understand it's the Tennessee Titans, but you beat the brakes off of that team.
Yeah.
And then the threes came in and big drop-off. But it is important to note that if the Seahawks decide to hang on to Milrow, like, you could be costing yourself an NFL-ready player in another position. Hit the thumbs up button. We got 70 people in the building with us today. If you want to get featured on the show, you're going to make sure that you use that hashtag Seahawks, or you'll send in a super chat. We've already had multiple people send in super chats today that guarantee that they're going to be on the show, as well as on our mailbag. It's going to be a 2-segment show today. Little more off the cuff, essentially, is what I'm going to equate it to here, Tom. Normally, we're pretty structured. We get rocking and rolling pretty quickly. It's going to be a little bit different for this show. It's certainly going to be a little bit different for this show. We're going to hang out for a little bit before we really dive into the nitty and into the gritty. That is certainly something that I want to make sure that we do. That is certainly something that I want to make sure that we do.
I want to know what the fans think, though. Back to our previous question. I'm going to pop it up again. Should the Seahawks cut Jalen Milrow? Comment yes or no down below. I want to hear what more people think. I know we've seen some people get down there, but I want to get more of a gauge. Comment yes or no. Board T really does not like number 73.
No, he doesn't like Logan.
Reed says yes. Cody says yes. Elijah, no. Elijah saying no.
Interesting.
Let's see. Big Ed. He says, let Milrow start this weekend and see how he plays with the second team. If he does a good job, then he buys himself more time. If not, then it's time to part ways. I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. Cody saying yes.
Trebek says no. Trigger, no, not yet.
Yeah, Jeff Jones wants him out. Elijah says no. Interesting.
Seems pretty split.
Seems very, very split. Very, very, very split. All right, here is what we're going to do. We're going to get back to y'all here in just 1 second, but I do want to get into our first segment of the day today because I do want to make sure that we are back and we have plenty of time to hang out with y'all. So what we are going to talk about on this first segment, we're going to be talking about the highway robbery that the Seattle Seahawks got away with these two corners. I'm telling you right now, the Seahawks, they did some stuff that I think not enough people are really looking at and really diving into. While we're doing that, keep using the hashtag Seahawks. Keep sending in those super chats. We want to make sure that we get as many people on the show today as possible. Producer Tom, you let me know when you're ready to rock and roll, and we will get going. Mr. Northwest, appreciate you. We'll get in that. We'll grab that as soon as we're done with this segment, okay? Right now, our general manager, John Schneider, is playing chess, not checkers. In fact, he's running laps around everyone. He's a chess master, and everyone else is just trying to figure out what board game they are playing in the National Football League. The Seattle Seahawks just signed a contract extension with Devon Witherspoon, and the Seattle Seahawks just got a contract deal done with Trevon Diggs, and I'm telling you both, these are great examples of highway robbery. Seahawks Today is presented by PrizePicks. I am your host, Will Ortner. And when you look at these types of signings here, the Devon Witherspoon contract signing and the Trevon Diggs signing, they show that Seattle knows exactly what they are doing and that Schneider is a great negotiator. Devon Witherspoon, everyone's talking about how he's the highest paid corner in all of football right now. Telling you, Schneider actually set that deal up to really benefit the Seahawks in the long run. Trevon Diggs, I understand that there are some bugaboos there. There are going to be some people that say, is he going to be ready to perform? That guy stays healthy, and he performs even close to what he performed like in the past when he was in Dallas, when he's in his heyday. Ooh, baby. John Schneider's going to show everyone just how good of a negotiator he is. Hit that subscribe button on today's show. We are trying to get all the way to 89,000 subscribers. Right now, we are within 200 or closing into within 200 on that mark. So hit that subscribe button. You are going to get the latest Seahawks news, rumors, updates. As soon as something happens, we're going to make sure that we get it to you. That is our promise. So obviously, we all know that Devon Witherspoon and the Seahawks, just a short week ago, a little bit over, they were able to reach a deal, and it ended up making Devon Witherspoon the highest paid cornerback in all of the National Football League, including getting over $101 million in guaranteed money, which is a very good thing for Witherspoon and a very good thing for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, what will be interesting here as he gets put onto the top of the cornerbacks in the National Football League is how are the Seahawks going to be able to show that this is not just a deal that is good for him, but it is a deal that is good for the Seahawks? Because a lot of people are going to see that top-end number and say, well, the Seahawks looked at Devon Witherspoon and they're like, hey, you know what? We're just going to give you that top dollar figure. That is what you wanted. We're going to make sure that we take care of you in that way. And that's exactly what the Seahawks did. And that's why Devon Witherspoon's happy. Because we were able to see him get excited, be happy. On Hard Knocks, we knew that he said he wanted to get a number that paid him at that top-end mark. What I'm telling you, though, is Devon Witherspoon isn't the only one that's happy. Seahawk fans should be happy. And no, not a situation where Seahawk fans are going, I'm happy because our guy is at the top end. No. You should be happy because John Schneider cultivated and crafted a deal that is actually going to benefit the Seahawks in the long term. When we look at Spot Track and what they have kind of broken down on Devon Witherspoon's contract is, yes, it is a 4-year deal. Yes, he's going to get $132 million, but it really is more of a 6-year deal because remember, the Seahawks already have him under contract for this season and for the next season before that contract even comes to fruition. So as you look at the totality of this deal, Seattle ends up holding on to Devon Witherspoon for a very, very long time, and people are just going to look at the big numbers. That's the problem with today's culture. You look at the headlines, highest paid guy, oh, here's what he's going to make, here's his guaranteed money. But you can look, this year, Seattle doesn't really cost them all that much. Devon Witherspoon next year costs them a little bit more, but it isn't an insane amount. There's a lot of back-end money that can get moved around to make life a little bit easier for this team. And I've got 4 examples of why that this is a highway robbery type situation. The first one is pretty simple. The extension is not going to kick in till the 2028 season. So by the time this extension even comes to fruition for Devon Witherspoon, you are going to see that top paid cornerback number go up. Christian Gonzalez is going to top him. There are going to be more people that end up being higher and higher up on that list. And while those guys get higher and higher up on that list, the percentage of the cap goes down and down for Devon Witherspoon, making that deal immensely better. We got more to talk about on the program today, but first, I need to let you know that today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With the football season right around the corner, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at PrizePicks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. For player picks, just pick more or less on a few players' stats and lock in your lineup. That's it. PrizePicks is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. One thing I love is the new social feeds feature where you can share PrizePicks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app at BigWill7774 to see all of my lineups. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Quentin Johnston, more on his receiving TDs. Kenyon Sadiq, more on his receiving TDs. Jackson Smith and Jigba, more on his receiving TDs. New user offer. Best of all, play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. PrizePicks just switched up their offers, so there's no better time to join. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 plus lineup. You got the contract extension done early. Now, what do I mean by this? You're in a race with Christian Gonzalez. Now, Seattle wasn't able to get the deal done before a guy like Denzel Ward was able to get himself back up closer to that #1 position, but you did beat Gonzalez, and that's where it's most important. Christian Gonzalez is going to be the #1 paid corner in the National Football League. If he had gotten paid before Devon Witherspoon, well, then Devon Witherspoon's price would have gone up per year. I'm sorry, once you get into a position where you're probably top 8, maybe top 10 cornerbacks, or really a top 10 player in any position, you just kind of get the #1 deal next. That's just how it works. And so by Seattle getting the extension done early, they locked up Devon Witherspoon before Gonzalez's number ends up rising and raising what is going to be the price for the top-end corner in the National Football League. Seattle knew that they had to put the pedal to the metal and take care of a guy who, let's just be honest about Devon Witherspoon, he is a great leader. He's a great culture fit for this team. Didn't have a deal done? Guess what? He was still at every OTA. He was still at mandatory minicamp. He was still at training camp. Never held in, never held out. The dude did everything the correct way. I love that. Make sure he's taken care of. Right now, Seattle has an issue at cornerback, right? Why not find a way to make sure that your #1 guy, your guy that you spent a high draft pick on, your guy that you want to be the leader of your defense or one of the leaders of your defense, why not make sure that he is locked up for a long, long time? When you look at the cornerback depth chart right now for the Seattle Seahawks, look, you need to find a cornerback 3, but you're not going to have to find a cornerback 1 for the next 6 years. And that peace of mind is important. That peace of mind is something that is good. That peace of mind is something that Seahawks fans should rejoice in. That's something that Seahawks fans should be excited about. You found a way to get your #1 guy paid. And I do think it's going to bring more guys into the system that want to play with him. Devon Witherspoon is a Swiss Army knife. If I'm another cornerback, and I'm looking at Devon Witherspoon, and he's able to do all these different things, well, that might allow me to do what I want to do. If I'm someone who's better at playing the boundary corner, well, I'm going to go play with Devon Witherspoon because he can just as equally go, all right, you want to be boundary? I'll go be field, or I'll go be in the slot. I'll go somewhere else. That's perfect. I love that Seattle locked up their number one guy. Lastly, I touched on it. He deserves it, man. He deserves to be the highest paid guy. He's been a Pro Bowl player every single year. He's probably an All-Pro last year if he doesn't get hurt. Devon Witherspoon is a incredibly, incredibly impressive player, and there are no corners, in my opinion, that are going to be able to do what he has done for this Seahawks team and for this Seahawks roster. When he is called upon, man, that guy does everything the correct way. He is someone that has not made a mistake. He is someone that continues to show up and show out in a big way. He is someone that continues to lead this team, and he is someone that when I look at Devon Witherspoon, I want to make sure that he is taken well care of and that he is someone that continues to get good money with Seattle. Next, let's move over to Trevon Diggs, and I do want to ask you, as I continue to just butcher his name, I got to get his name right. Are you happy that the Seahawks signed Trevon Diggs? Let me know down below in our comment section. Now, this is a guy who is, let's be honest, not the same player he was in 2021, but there is a potential that he can do the things that you need him to do, which is be a big, strong, physical man corner and replace Reek Woolen. Go down in our comment section, say yes or say no. Now, why do I believe that the Diggs contract signing is an example of highway robbery? Well, that's pretty easy to me, man. Just look at what he signed for. That is a league and a veteran minimum contract, a.k.a. Diggs said, I am willing to play for whatever amount of money you're willing to give me. And the Seahawks said, would you play and would you end up going out for the Seahawks on a veteran's minimum contract? And he said, yes, this is a great deal. Couple of reasons. First, you're saving a lot of your salary cap. Remember, John Schneider, he's cool if it rolls over, but he also wants to have some available money if he needs to go in and make a big signing or a big trade. But if you look at Diggs, if he even can get to that 2022 year stat line, this is a victory. This is an easy home run victory for the Seattle Seahawks because that is a quality player, and you're getting him for pennies on the dollar. When you look at this cornerback room, you need that cornerback 3 to step up. It's clear you're not comfortable with Nehemiah Pritchett or Noah Igbenogany. Well, if you're not comfortable with them, here comes Trevon Diggs, and he could end up being a huge win for this team. Sounds like things have already been going pretty well for him in practices so far. Again, someone that is going to have to learn the ropes. Will he play on Friday against Kansas City? That's something that will be interesting to see. But I do believe that the Seahawks are on the right side of history with this one, and this could end up being a huge win for them. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of the content that we have here on the channel. Thank you guys again for hanging out. Can't wait to see you next time. And as always, go tell someone that you love them. Man, oh man, we got the people firing off in the chat. We got 40 likes. Let's get to that 50 number. If you haven't done so already, hit the thumbs up button. Producer Tom, get yourself up on the screen here, and then we will get to Mr. Northwest's super chat. But I do want to hear from you, mainly because, one, I think you're really smart and talented, and two, because my throat hurts. No one clipped that. Are you happy with the signing of Trevon Diggs?
I am. I think, like you said in the cut there, I don't think we're going to get that 2021 year. I mean, I think he's past that stage of his career, obviously, but I do think he can be a valuable leader and asset for that secondary room, especially with the uncertainty at that cornerback 3 spot. Nehemiah Pritchett and Igbenogany are just not getting it done right now, and that's clear. Otherwise, they wouldn't have signed Trevon Diggs. They wouldn't have, hinted very heavily at the fact that they're going to sign Tyrion Arnold. Yeah. And honestly, I like what he brings to the table. Again, it's not going to be 2021 Trevon Diggs, but it's still better than what that second option would be in those two battling for that cornerback 3 spot.
Yep. No, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. We asked y'all, Read the Goat says, I say mid on Diggs. Big Ed, first of all. Love and appreciate you, Big Ed. Thank you for saying good show. I appreciate that. Let's answer Mr. Northwest's question. By the way, if you want to be a part of our mailbag, which we'll be recording here in a handful of minutes, right? We're just going to kind of go with y'all. If y'all want to keep interacting with us in the chat using that hashtag Seahawks sending in super chats, we'll hang out. We'll have a good time. We'll discuss. This is what Mondays are going to be during the year, right? We are going to start doing our Monday or our live shows on Mondays, potentially certain weeks bringing in a Thursday live as well. But the big focus is going to be on Mondays because we want to be here with all of y'all the minute that a game is over, right? We want to be here on an Overreaction Monday. Are we happy? Are we sad? What are we thinking for our teams? Right now, Mr. Northwest says, concern is safety. Why not targeting a vet? That's an interesting conversation to have here because when you look at that safety room and the safety position group for this team, Seattle seems to be kind of happy with what they've got going on over there. I'm not going to say that they're perfectly rock solid because, well, that's just not true. But you got a guy in Julian Love that, remember, you didn't have for much of last year. You had him for about half of the year. He's probably your best safety. He's a great cover guy, can be a good interception forcer. Ty Okada's had a lot of success since last year, kind of coming in, being a big difference maker for this team. Now, if you don't have Bud Clark, Maxon Hook is someone that you've talked about him being a potential really good fill in there. You signed Rodney Thomas II in free agency. He can be your strong safety addition. Just the more and more I look at this room, yes, there are some good things. But if there is a safety that becomes available, why not? Why not have the conversation? You know what I mean? I think this is where John kind of shows his veteran cap and he starts making some calls. Now, you're not going to see Bud Clark, even though he has a broken ankle, pop onto IR anytime soon. It sounds like Seattle is going to wait to put him onto IR until after roster cutdown day. So that way he can still come back at some point. Because if they put him on IR right now, Bud Clark would be done for the year. Wait, put him on IR, I don't know, probably Monday, Tuesday, put him on there. And then that way he has an ability to come back. And hopefully he kind of takes the Riley Mills path where he comes back, plays in a handful of games for you at the end of the year. We're 7 likes away from that 50 number. Producer Tom, you got something. What's going on over here?
Oh, yeah. Bit of a shorter show today, but if you guys want to get on the show, keep using that hashtag. All the super chats guarantee you a spot to get on our mailbag edition, which will air tomorrow either in the morning or in the afternoon. So if you want to guarantee your spot not only right now, but tomorrow as well, feel free to send us a super chat. I'll try to get to as many hashtags Seahawks as I can. No guarantee there, but the more the merrier.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a lot of fun today. Not a ton of news coming out right now for the Seahawks as they're traveling back from Nashville, which that kind of makes some sense, right? We'll get into more of the news and notes probably on tomorrow's show and tomorrow's shows because, well, Seattle will be back at practice and they'll be back doing things that are important for them. There is an important piece of information that you guys should all know, though, about the team. They have an open roster spot. They ended up waiving Anthony Hankerson. Anthony Hankerson is no longer a running back for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
Now producer Tom's trying to figure out if he'll be a Nebraska Cornhusker.
Yes, I've seen some rumors going around on social media that he could be making his way to dear old Nebraska U in Lincoln, Nebraska. We'll see if that happens. Going to do some deep diving tonight. See if I can find anything else out. I mean, hell, we'd love to have him. So, we'll see.
Yeah, interesting there. 4 likes away from that 50 number. We're seeing some hashtag Seahawks come in. It is starting to slow down a little bit. I do like what Elijah Nixon is saying here with the hashtag Seahawks. A lot of Milrow conversation, which does not shock me, to be honest with you. This is pretty pretty divisive issue right now, I think, in Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a guy that's been with the team for a few years now, and like I've made my point clear that I think it's time for both parties to move on. We'll see what happens this weekend. I mean, like you said, if he makes the roster, he's got to be like that 53rd guy.
Yeah. He cannot. You can't look at him at like guy number 46 and be like, "Yep,
yeah, no,
he's here." It's like no. Even if even if your game plan is, hey, we're going to use him as a gadget guy. We're going to use him as someone who fills in and does this or does that. That's got to be the 53rd guy. That's a luxury.
No, it is. Absolutely.
He's a Lexus. He's a Lexus car. That's exactly what he is. If you have enough money, you can afford the Lexus. You know? You're putting some stuff in savings. You're putting some stuff away. You got good investments, good stock portfolio. You can go get a Lexus. If you're Will Ortner, you can't go get a Lexus right now. You don't have your own home. Let's worry about some other things. Some things are more important right now.
Exactly. Well, and to your point, if he takes a roster spot of someone else that you think could be of more value to the team, like a corner person, perhaps, or a safety, someone on the defensive side of the ball, you don't want to find yourself in that situation.
Right. Well, let's have this conversation. Jalen Milroe, or take your pick between Noah Igbenogany and Nehemiah Pritchett. Like, we know one of those two guys is making this roster. The other guy's on the outside looking in. Well, I don't know. You just had a couple injuries in the secondary. Does it behoove you? Yeah, you might not be thrilled with what either one of those two are doing, but maybe you hold on to one of them.
Right.
Just in case. I mean, what's the beauty of Mike McDonald? The beauty of Mike McDonald is you have guys that are rotating, floating, and doing a bunch of different things, right? That can play a multitude of different positions. You don't have that if everyone gets hurt. Maybe it behooves you to keep Noah Benogany and a Nehemiah Pritchett.
Right.
All right. Here's what I'm thinking. Ooh, Big Ed says I pick a defensive player. Here's what we're going to get into. If you're just joining us on the show today, hit that thumbs up button. Producer Tom, let's put a 2-minute countdown timer on. What we are going to do on our show today, we're going to give you 2 more minutes to get your hashtag Seahawk questions in or send in a super chat to guarantee that you will be on the show today. If you use the hashtag Seahawks, we're going to get to as many of y'all as we can. You send in that super chat, I guarantee that you're going to be on the show. We've already had a multitude of super chats come in. Be a part of the show. Be a part of the fun. This is going to be a more normal thing for us here on Seahawks Today. I know we've kind of bounced back and forth between Wednesday and Thursday lives in the past. The plan going forward for the year is the day after Seahawk games, we will be live, right? So we'll be live on that Thursday after the Wednesday game. But for the most part, we will be live on Mondays.
Yeah, and I think that's best plan moving forward. I know maybe not a lot of Seahawks fans got the memo we were going live today, but this is going to be the norm moving forward. So if we got a Seahawks game, you got another live show to look forward to the next day.
That's
breaking
right.
down the latest game, news, rumors, you name it. That's why you sub to Seahawks Today.
Yes, that is right. So we got a few more minutes left on that guy, minute and a half essentially. Use that hashtag Seahawks, send in that super chat. You're a part of our show today. I want to thank everyone who did come in today and hang out with us. It's been a lot of fun. Something tells me there might be some more knee-jerk reactions after games that do count. You know, there is something to be said about preseason games that don't fully count. That being said, over 650 people have joined us in the building today. That's pretty freaking cool on a Monday.
Not bad.
I know most people are at work or right now you're doing your last minute ditch the job, go have a little bit of vacay before kind of the grind really starts. I feel like once Labor Day hits, you're not in the summer anymore. It's, all right, I got to actually be back at work. No more, oh, hey, sorry, I got a client meeting at 3 o'clock on a Friday, and really that client is your friends or family or others.
Right.
You wait to clock off a little bit later. You get locked back into more of your day today, more of your normal. Thank you, like I said, to everyone who's come in today. Had a lot of fun. We got a new chat sports employee. Well, you've been here for a month or two. Who's shadowing us today, Cooper. Unfortunately for Cooper, he's a fan of the Raiders, but maybe after today he'll be a fan of the Seahawks. We can only hope. That he'll one day root for a winner. He just shook his head at me no, but that's okay. I'm a born salesman. All right, so here's how this is going to work. We're going to do your and answer your questions, answer your takes, and then we are going to sign off on the show today. Been a lot of fun hanging out with y'all. Cooper, you have a wonderful rest of your day, buddy. Thank you for all your help today. Make sure that you come back about an hour from now. We'll get another video out to y'all. It'll be fun. It'll be after my nice little walk home. 1 like away from 50, by the way. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, that'd mean the world to Producer Tom. All right, Producer Tom, are we ready to go? Awesome. It's a mailbag edition of Seahawks Today. We were live on Monday answering the questions and discussing some of the hot takes from Seahawk fans. The plan on Seahawks Today, by the way, if you're just seeing this, we will be live the day after games. So there might be one or two that we miss, but right now my plan, my promise to you is that after a game, we will be live because we want to hear the hot takes and, of course, the questions that are coming from the 12. Seahawks Today is presented by PrizePicks. I am your host, Will Ortner, and it's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of hijinks. There's been a lot of hilarity, but it certainly feels like this Seahawks team, there's some big things to work on. I'm telling you right now, though, you want to turn on your notifications, especially this week. For those of you that do not know, roster cutdown day in the National Football League is on Sunday. That means this team is going to go from 90, that's right, 90 players on the roster all the way down to 53. The day after, you're going to get a lot of that practice squad getting built up and created. Don't miss out on any of that. How do you not do that? You turn on your notifications. You set them to all, and I will be alerted, you will be alerted when a video drops from us on the channel. Big Red in Seattle. Ooh, this must be Tom, producer Tom's burner account because he's a big fan of the 12s, and he is a big fan of Big Red. Will the Seahawks make a trade with Jake Bobo injured? Now, that's an interesting conversation that I think we can have here on the channel. Now, when you look at the Seahawks wide receiver room, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your you-know-what and tell you that Jake Bobo was a starter on this team. He wasn't. Jake Bobo, though, was a quality depth piece. He's probably your wide receiver 5 or 6, and he's certainly someone that added a lot on special teams. Now, the Seahawks could be looking at Emmanuel Henderson, Cody White, and Montori Foster Jr. and saying, hey, we need to keep 2 or 3 of these guys, but while they might be okay additions on special teams, I don't know that they're right for this team when it comes to what they can add as pass catchers. And if you have even one injury, right now, by the way, Torrey Horton still going through his stuff with that, you got a really big problem, right? You might be down to 3 wide receivers already. So where does a trade come in? Well, Keon Coleman, he has been a player that is on the trading block right now in Buffalo. And you're going to look at his stat line over the last 2 seasons and go, I don't know if I really want Keon Coleman. And he's someone that has missed some time in the league because of, well, he's had some issues when it comes to maturity. He has been someone that has all the talent in the world, but probably needs someone to help him along and make sure that he's on the right track. Well, this is where you could easily grab a guy like Keon Coleman, get him into the Seahawks culture, and get him on the right track. Get some leadership to put their arm around him and say, hey, man, this is how you need to act in the National Football League. I think that if the Seahawks go in, they make a trade for a guy like Keon Coleman, you're probably only going to have to trade a day 3 pick. So that, to me, would be something along the lines of probably a 5th round, maybe a 6th round pick. Seattle already has 12 picks in that draft. Why not move on from that pick? Go and get Coleman. This is a situation where he can add to your team, and you could get a big-time target that would be great for you in the red zone. He is great at catching the ball. Christian Malley, good to see you, big dog. Thank you for joining us today. Who has to step up before the cut? I think I'm going to put it squarely on Montorie Foster Jr. We talked about a couple guys on the live show also, but I'm going to focus in on Montorie Foster Jr. right now with the Jake Bobo injury. There is a shot for him to make this team, but he's really going to have to grind. He's really going to have to show up in a big way. Or else, I think Seattle's probably going to have him on the outside looking in. Mr. Northwest, he's going to ask the question here. Milroe is in a lose-lose situation. He wants to be proven as a QB, not a runner. McDonald wants him as a situation Lamar role. Bama QBs are overrated. I am going to get to the bottom of that take and that question from Mr. Northwest after I let you know about our good friends over there with Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With the football season right around the corner, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. For player picks, just pick more or less on a few players' stats and lock in your lineup. That's it. Prize Picks is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. One thing I love is the new social feeds feature where you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app at BigWill7774 to see all of my lineups. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Justin Herbert, more on his pass yards. Quentin Johnston, more on his receiving TDs. Rashid Shaheed, more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Best of all, play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. Prize Picks just switched up their offers, so there's no better time to join. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 plus lineup. So let's throw that guy up again. Milroe is in a lose-lose situation. I agree with Mr. Northwest here because what Milroe is trying to do is he's trying to elongate his career, right? You can't be a running quarterback in the National Football League for that long. The longest guy that probably made it, if we're talking about pure runner and still ran heavy into the later back half of his career, we're talking about Cam Newton. Cam Newton was a physical freak. Milroe is an athletic freak. I don't know that he's a physical freak, right? And so I understand where he's coming from, but I think him trying to be this guy who's going to dissect you from the back of the pocket, it's ruining him as a quarterback because you can tell there are situations where he could run the football and he doesn't. And there are situations where he holds on to the ball too long. He tries to force the ball somewhere where it doesn't need to go. I think there's a certain situation here where, like, Milroe, dude, just go and do what you think is best in that moment. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be going to different quarterback gurus and fixing your technique and fixing your throwing motion because those are things that Milroe obviously needs to have done. But to me, when I look at Jalen Milroe right now, he's playing his way off of this roster. This was a guy that was for sure going to make this team early on. This was a guy that I was talking about potentially battling it out for that QB2 spot. And after what we saw on Sunday night, I don't know that he can be on this roster right now. Just being honest with you. If he makes this team, he makes this team as player number 53. And I'm not crazy on that because a lot of other Seahawks fans agree with me and have voiced their opinions in this way. I'm not attacking him. I like Jalen Milroe a lot. I think he's got the right temperament to be a quarterback in the National Football League. I think he is a good human being. I think right now there are too many cooks in the kitchen with him, and it's a problem, and it's going to get him out of the National Football League very quickly. Concern is safety. Why not targeting a vet? Now, I'm going to do something that all the great hosts do here and say, Producer Tom, if you could help me throw up that safety depth chart. I want to go through it here in a moment because Mr. Northwest is obviously talking about Bud Clark's injury, and with him having that broken ankle, well, shoot, where do you go as a team? And I think this is a great spot for us to have a convo around the depth of that safety room. Look at what you have brought in. Maxon Hook is someone you brought in last year onto your practice squad. He's stayed with the team the rest of the way. Rodney Thomas was someone that was brought in early on during free agency. Now, he missed your last game dealing with some hand stuff. He's going to be back. Hand injury. He had a surgery. Don't dive into hand stuff too much there. Rodney Thomas is going to be back with this team rather quickly. And so we know that Bud Clark is going to be out several months. I think the hope that Mike Macdonald has and that the Seahawks have is that he will be back sooner rather than later. But it is important to kind of know, and I think it is important to mention, that Seattle, I think they're going to stay with the guys that they already have on this team. I think that Seattle likes their depth where it's at, and I think that they are going to try and rotate some of these older guys in. Now, maybe there's a world where they bring in a trade piece as we get closer to cutdown day. Maybe there's a guy who's clearly not going to make a team. Hey, let's go make a move. Let's go make a trade. But I think they're going to stay true with Bud Clark, I think they're going to stay true with Bud Clark's replacements, which would be a Hook or a Thomas there. Guardian, what's up, big dog? What if Drew Lock is maturing similar to what Geno Smith had done and Sam Darnold has done, getting better with age? IDK. Well, I think that anytime you've been in the National Football League for an extended period of time, you do mature, right? You have an ability to kind of have the game slow down around you, and you also have an ability to see what's about to happen in front of you. I think it's a bit bold to say that Drew Lock could be the next Geno Smith or Sam Darnold because, remember, while he was going up against the ones of the Tennessee Titans, this was still a situation where it's preseason. People didn't believe that Sam Darnold had turned around until really the Super Bowl, and I'd make the argument there are some people that still don't think that he has it turned around. When I look at Drew Lock, for me to put him in a Geno Smith, Sam Darnold conversation, I'd have to see him do it in the regular season time in and time again. He had that great Monday night game against the Eagles a couple of years ago. Didn't look that great the next week against San Francisco. That's all I'm saying. Big Ed, he says, I am concerned about Torrey. He needs to get better. I'm a bit concerned as well, man. It feels and sounds like the injury that he is going through right now, or whatever he's going through right now, is going to keep him out for a little bit longer. He's missed a decent amount of time. I'm worried, man. I'm not going to sit here and say that I feel good about this. This is now 3 years in a row where he's had some injury issues, dating all the way back to college, right? The reason he was a day 3 guy, he didn't play a decent chunk of his senior year. Last year, he misses over half the year due to his injury. Now, I'm not saying that this is a stamp to prove this guy's an injury-prone dude, stay away from him. Certainly not saying that. He's got a ton of talent. I mean, when you play in 8 games and have 6 touchdowns, you're doing something right. But we need to look at his injuries and understand that we might be dealing, I don't want to go full Percy Harvin here, but I do worry about this many injuries stacking up this early for the kid. Cody T, what's up, big dog? Seahawks going back-to-back Super Bowls this year or no? What do you guys think? Look, it's not going to be difficult, but I think this team can run it forward in the right way. I'm excited to see what the Seahawks end up doing, and I'm certainly excited to see if this team can come away with another Super Bowl ring. That'd be something special. We almost did it just a decade ago. Maybe we'll do it now. Should the Seahawks trade for a safety? Type Y for yes, type N for no down below in our comment section. I certainly am interested in hearing what you have to say. I think you could go a multitude of different ways here for the Seahawks. I want to know what your opinion is. Turn on your notifications. Never miss another edition of Seahawks Today. Come join us for our lives. They're a heck of a lot of fun. We love hanging out with y'all. Hit that subscribe button as well. Don't miss any of the content if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet. Thank you guys so much for coming in, hanging out with us. It was a lot of fun today. Can't wait to see you next time. And as always, go tell someone that you love. Bang! Fun day today. Fun day today. We had over 800 people come into the building and hang out with us. That is so freaking cool, and it means the world to me and producer Tom. So we do really appreciate that. We're going to have another video later on tonight, and we're going to have a video that goes out tomorrow. 2 videos that go out tomorrow. So make sure that you go check those guys out. Thank you guys so much for coming in, hanging out with us. Can't wait to see you guys next time. And as always, go tell someone that you love them.